Hi everyone, Diane here. Today I'm going to start off by setting a mood for the painting that I'm going to do, and this is perhaps a little bit, I don't know, unnecessary maybe, but anyway I'm going to do it. The other day I bought a beautiful wax candle from a person who raises bees here in France and tries to encourage beekeeping and so on and so forth. And to support him, we bought some sweeties and some honey, a big pot of honey, big tub actually. And I thought I'd try out one of his candles as well. So just to set the mood today, I'm going to start by lighting the candle. And hopefully that will give us a little warm glow of light. It's beautiful, isn't it? That's kind of inspirational, so I'll pop that over there. Maybe if I just leave it there for a minute where you can just still see it. We'll see how it'll burn. Hopefully it'll burn well. Might have to shorten the wick. It looks as if it's going to... Anyway, we'll see. And I'm also going to light my incense stick too. And this is my favourite one. This is an Indian incense. Sometimes, to tell you the truth, it gives me a bit of a headache, but you won't be able to smell it. So if it gives you a headache, it won't. You see what I mean? So we'll put that over there, because what we're going to do today is a kind of meditative, relaxing sort of painting. Got a couple of other things here I want to show you. I did invest the other day in a tube of Daniel Smith watercolor. I've got a couple of theirs. What's it called? Quinacridone Gold I have from Daniel Smith. This is buff titanium, which is a kind of, basically it's white with a slight hint of cream. And you can use that to mix with a lot of stronger colours in order to give you more of a kind of, an Art Nouveau look, I would say. If you mix some of this with some of the stronger, clear colours, you're going to get a nice muted colour. It's a little bit more subtle than adding white. The other thing I've got here to show you is a pencil plane. What this is, it's a kind of, basically, it's a pencil sharpener blade in a wooden holder. You can get this from Jackson's, and I'll put it in the link below. Although it would make a nice Christmas present, what you do is you just sharpen your pencil like this. It's much nicer than using, it's not necessarily more efficient than using an old-fashioned, ordinary, you know, stick it in and turn it kind of pencil sharpener. But it was a present from Tamsin and a couple of Christmases ago, and it's really rather lovely. While I'm talking about that, I'll mention this pencil here that I have been using pretty consistently since I started the channel. It's made by Stettler, and it's called a Karat Aquarelle, and it's a watercolor pencil. And this one is the black one, and it's really nice if you want to work black pencil into wet watercolor. So I might use that today in what we're doing, so I'll keep that handy. Move those things over. I've got a lovely feather here that we've picked up from outside. I think this came from the cockerel. We were worried about the cockerel getting cold, but when you consider how beautiful the down is that's next to their skin, you can see why they don't get cold overnight. And this I'll talk about later. So there we are. And I'm going to use today for brushes, this is the set of Diane Antone and Craftamo collaboration brushes, which we will be able to share with you at the end of October. They should be marketing them for us starting on the 1st of November, if not the 30th of October. We'll be doing a live premiere, I think, a day or two before they go live, so that we can unbox them for you and show you exactly what you get. This is just the trial set that they sent me. They're going to have gold tips. These haven't all got gold tips, but they will have them. And they're really nice brushes and lovely to use, and they're all slightly different from the sort of thing that you normally buy, because I designed them myself for you to use, and I chose particularly different brushes from the ones that you normally can buy. For example, this is a round, but it's long. It's a number 9, and it's got longer hairs than average, which makes it much more flexible and more flowing. This is a number 14 round, same deal. It's got the same length hairs. This is a lovely mop brush, which is great for backgrounds. This is a cat's tongue, which is nice and generous for doing flowers, if you're doing anything slightly larger than a greetings card size. And this is a flat, which has lots of uses, which we will explore. So I might use some or all of those today. And they're all synthetic, and they're all vegan, and they're all very nicely made. So I should just put that out of sight there. And let me move my candle. I can still smell it. And paper. Today we're going to use the Meeden watercolor paper Hot Press. And I'm going to open that now and show you. The reason I'm going to use hot press is because you get a different effect with the paint from what you get when you use cold press or rough. And I think a lot of people probably haven't used it before, so maybe you might find it interesting. This pad of hot press is the 12 by 9 inch one. It also comes in 5 by 7 inches and 7 by 10 inches. Now they have all of those available, and I need to just find my oh no, I don't want to do that yet. Oh yes I do. Come on, wake up. I don't need my paper knife for this, but I can use it just to take off the cover. And you'll notice, if you've had Meeden paper before, you'll notice that they've changed the glue colour. It's now transparent or white. And before it used to be green or blue colour. They've changed it so that it's not so obvious when you take the sheet off if there's a little bit of remnants of glue remaining. So that's a good thing. Right, so the texture, I don't know if you can see, if I bring it up close to the camera. Probably not, but the texture is more like writing paper than the traditional watercolor paper that we're used to in the cold pressed world. So what I'm thinking of doing today is just a little bit of a meander through some paints, just something probably along the lines a little bit of this tryout that I did the other day, yesterday actually. Don't know if it's going to turn out like that or not. So I've already been rambling on for 8 minutes. I think I'll use the Kuretake paints today just because they're convenient and they're all out and ready for me to use. And I need a mixing tray. I quite like this one from Meeden. It's quite a nice rectangular one, so I'll pop that there, and if I need to show you, I'll show you. And anyway, right, so we'll start. Let's start with the mop brush here. This is a 1/2 inch mop, and I'll wet it, and I think I'll probably sit down. And let's start with yellow. Now, because this is hot press paper, when you put a fair amount of water onto the page, you'll find that it will pool and pull back a little bit, which could give an interesting, and will in fact give an interesting effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up colour going down through the reds, and I'm going to do circles. Okay, biggish ones. Very easy to do with this brush. Just pick up some more water. I think I might go back to the yellow a little bit there. So we'll keep them kind of roughly the same size. And put a little bit more in that and make it a little bit more round. You'll find when you have these brushes, you'll find that they're easy to make circles with, I think. So it's a very calming, you know, you're not going to be putting any pressure on yourself to perform. And then if I make them overlap a little bit, they'll join together. All right, and I want to go down here to a sort of darker one. And I will put the darker one here. If I can make that. There we are. I'm going to be brave and let that touch. And then I'm going to be brave and let that touch. Then I'm going to join these two together. And we will get some interesting effects, I'm sure. And what shall I put here? I think maybe orange. Okay, and then I want to put smaller circles into the spaces. And they don't have to be completely circular. They could be oval. But I think it's probably worth leaving a little bit of space, a little bit of white space. I've just added some blue there. And we'll add a little bit more blue there. And just let it all kind of drift in as it wants. Well, there we are. I'm going to let that do its thing. I think I might just put a little bit of dark up here. A very good way of exploring how colour behaves, you know, how things mix and mingle. I think I'll put something down here too. You just have to put the brush where it feels drawn to. I don't know whether to break this up a little bit. I think what I might do is, instead of putting blue on there, I think I might add some more orange. And some water. Okay, so you know, I need to let that dry. So that's dry now, and I deliberately encouraged these runs to happen because I thought that might give a little bit more character and give me an inspiration for what to do next. So I did that on purpose, and now I'm wondering what to do next, as we always do when we get to this point. And there's so many different things you could do, so you can sort of get kind of a little bit baffled, and they look a bit like stems of branches or something like that, don't they? So I don't really know, but I think I've got here my, and I really don't know. I don't know at all. At the moment, just before I said that, I was thinking of using pencil or pastel or something, and I've also got my gold Finetech Clearo set of golds here, and I'm thinking I could use that. And yeah, so I'm not quite sure. So I'm going to try putting on, it's always, you know, leaf patterns are very, what's the word, forgiving. You can always get something pleasant if you put leaves, especially if your paint is dark enough, if you put leaves on. And so I'm thinking maybe I'll do that if I can get some real good colour here. I could go over these guidelines, couldn't I? I could do that, and then I could paint more leaves with this lovely long haired brush that Craftamo have kindly created for us. We might have to come back again with a bit more colour. I'm not quite sure how that's going to pan out, so to speak, but we'll see. And maybe, you know, to be kind of, what's the word? Consistent, that's it. That's the word, I can never think of it. We'll put some more over here. You really, really have to just trust. You have to let these things develop, and you have to allow yourself to relax, which always takes me a little while when I start painting. It takes me a while to just go with the flow. It's easy to say, it's not so easy to do. And then, yeah, I'm not unhappy about that. Then we'll put another leaf there and we'll come down here. I don't know why that hair won't go away. And if you can see, I'm holding the brush quite a long way from the ferrule, which gives me less control and more freedom, more looseness. And if you've accidentally put in a smudge, you can go over that. And there's another one here. We can come up this line here, and perhaps we'll break away and go over this way. Golden leaves. I was watching a channel last night called Nanny, and it's called Nanny and the Moose. A lady recommended that I should go and have a look. It's, I think it's called Nanny and the Moose, something like that. I'll put a link in the description below. She is 85 or 86, and she's trying to live her best life. And it's quite interesting, and I don't know why I'm mentioning her. Why am I mentioning her? Okay, it'll come back to me in a minute. I was going to say something about their channel, but I've forgotten what it was. Hey-ho. Right, so we've got various gold leaves on top of a variegated background, And now we need to think about what to do next. I think I probably need to dry that. So I think I'm going to be really brave, and I'm going to use my Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen, and I'm going to put in some darks. And I'm just going to do my favorite thing, which is light lines and harder lines, just to give interesting effects, really. And also making sure that we don't exactly follow the line of the paint, because that's not terribly interesting. So we cross over and do explorations. Here we have some nice lines going that way, so we'll just emphasize those a bit. And because this is hot press paper, which I haven't really talked about very much yet, it's smoother than cold press, and so it takes the pen better. It really does, and you'll find that when you come to use it. And the thing is, I always find when I start doing this, I always lose confidence, and I look at it and I think, oh dear, that was not a good idea. I don't know. But then you keep going, and it's only when you've actually finished it and come to the end that you can then look at it. So don't look at it. Don't look at what you're doing. Don't think too hard about it. Just enjoy the feeling of the pen sliding over the paint, sliding over the paper, and do whatever comes to mind. If you suddenly feel inspired to do a spiral there, do a spiral, you know. It might not look right at the moment, but it probably will by the time you've finished. And this pen is a lot of fun. I think it's definitely my favorite because you can, as I keep saying, you can press hard and get a wide line. You press less hard and you get a narrow line. I'm sure there are lots of things that lots of people who are cleverer than me do with these pens to have really interesting effects emerging. But that's what I've discovered personally. And you see, if you just do it all the same, it comes out like that. But if you press a little bit harder, you get a variety of depth. Yes, I was talking about Nanny and the Moose crashing their 80s, and I expect some of you have visited them already. They haven't got a vast channel, but it's quite interesting. And what I was mentioning her for was because she was putting out her fall decorations on her mantelpiece and making everything lovely, and you know, these kinds of colours. So that seemed to me to be relevant at the moment when I was speaking. Okay, so we put another leaf up here. I think, you know, with doing watercolor, mixed media, or whatever it is that we want to call this, the thing is, it's just starting is the big thing, having the idea of something to do and how to do it, not how to do it, but kind of what to do it with. And I always find that's the hardest thing, sort of just getting down and starting. And quite often what I consider my best things never turn into videos because they're just kind of 5-minute scribbles. And I usually share them with people. I did a scribble today on Procreate on the program, and I don't know how to use it, but I do want to learn. I do want to learn how to use it. Okay, so now we've got quite a lot of black there, and I think what I'm going to do next is possibly, I might try using the rigger, the long thin brush, this one here, to put some emphasis on here, so emphasis. And we can put some lines, I don't know, wavy lines like this perhaps. And I would sort of be inclined to come in with the same colour as what's underneath, just to, that was wrong, emphasize it, put some dots here, or little dashes, and then pick up some pink perhaps, or red, or whatever the colour that is, and we could do some more wavy lines and more dashes. And then maybe, I don't know what colour that's going to be. Oh, that's a nice dark red. Perhaps we'll put in a few more leaves. I quite like doing them really loose with lots, when I say loose, I mean wet, like that. And then when it dries, you get an interesting result. Nice and thick. Painting is much more liberated these days, isn't it, than it used to be. We used to have to follow rules and things. I sometimes think about people like Roland Hilder, who thought he was being iconoclastic when he talked about breaking rules, but he would be probably delighted to see what happens nowadays in terms of rule breaking, because it puts his breaking of rules to shame. He's very fuddy-duddy by comparison. And I'll put a little bit of blue mixed with purple. A bit more blue perhaps over here. We could do things in these spaces. I think they need to be filled with a nice dark. Perhaps some of them might be complete circles filled in, and some of them might be just round. If you're the kind of person that seeks perfection, that craves perfection, you won't like this kind of painting, because this is not in any way perfect. But it's fun. It's fun. And you never know where it's going to go, as I often say. Eventually, as you carry on with this, you'll realize that you're painting, for example, flowers which have been dismantled, and they are putting their seeds into the air. And these are the seeds. And you realize that you've actually been telling a story to do with nature. That you didn't know about when you first started. I think we need another leaf here. And I don't know whether, I'll put another circle there, and perhaps we'll put one here. There seems to be a gap. Maybe I'll put some orange in the middle here. When this dries, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. You couldn't really do this as easily with ordinary paints. This is something that the Kuretake set really does help you with, because it's like something between watercolor and gouache, and even has slightly a tendency to lead you in the direction of acrylic painting. But I think quite a lot of us have got the Kuretake set now. I think it's probably true to say that you won't find a painting like this one anywhere on the internet. And I think that with the advent of artificial intelligence art, we are going to have to be very careful to make sure that our art is original and can't and isn't a copy of anything else. Because you know why? Because I personally do not want to be guilty of copying a computer. Much as I love Data on Star Trek and think that he as an android is much better than most human beings I've ever known, and I agree with him when he tries to learn all the different styles of art by copying the great masters' styles, but at least he didn't copy what they painted, he just copied their styles and produced some interesting results. So anyway, I'm not going to copy a computer. And I hope that that's going to mean that a lot of people are going to become more confident in their art and make that spread out. Why not? Because, you know, if a computer can do it, then surely we can, right? Turn that around the other way so I can get to the bits without putting my hand all over it. So basically I think what I've done is filled in all the gaps with yellow and orange. This is going to be a very bright painting, probably the brightest painting I've ever done. I think I might put that on the thumbnail. Because I think that could well be true. Okay, I'm going to dry that. So I'm just mixing some of the paint in one of these little palette thingies here with some water and enjoying the sense of mixing the water with the paint to get some kind of depth of colour. And it sometimes takes quite a while to sort of pick up the pigment, especially for the gold, but just take your time. And then, although this is quite a fat brush, it's a 14, because it's got a nice sharp point on it, you can just go in and make little tiny marks with the tip of that brush. And if you do that, you can sort of enhance what you've already done. So for example, you know, if you want to put some more gold lines on these snakes that are coming down here, you can, or you can go over some of the leaves if you feel you'd like to do that, or you can just, you know, fill in perhaps some of the areas on the leaves like that. I think that's probably quite a nice thing to do, just going on the inside. And you could probably spend a fair amount of time actually working on what you've set up here. And where the background isn't terribly interesting, you could put in some more gold there. And where it is more interesting like that, you might want to enhance around the outside edge, or just leave it. And you can put, you know, more flowing lines if you feel like flowing lines are helping the design. You could do that. Whatever floats your proverbial, really. And it's always nice to have a few spirals here and there. And we've got one up here in paint, and I think I might add a little bit of gold on that. You can't have too much gold. Yes, it's a good investment. So anyway, what I should be saying to you right now is please like and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. And don't forget, every time you take some action connected with our channel, it helps us to become more visible as far as YouTube's concerned. So if you can share our video to somebody who you think might like it, or watch it all the way through to the end, watch it more than once, put it on repeat, anything like that. But especially leave comments and questions below in the... and also don't forget to if you go to Amazon to purchase something that you've seen me using that you think you'd like to have, if you go via one of the links that's in the description below, or through our shop, which is Amazon.com, Diane Antone Studio, or something like that. Anyway, you'll find all the links in the description below. And if you go there and purchase something, even if it's something completely unrelated to what we are offering, we do get a small commission. So that's really very helpful for us. So we do appreciate that. And go and have a look at the website. And if you're interested, we've got free downloadable sketches for lots of the paintings that need sketches. This one obviously doesn't. And lots of other things there for you to look at, including a blog with some articles about this and that and the other, and things about paint. And, you know, that's a work in progress. So that will be changing with time. So keep an eye on that. You never know what you might find over there. So I could spend the rest of the afternoon doing this. I think it definitely qualifies as being the brightest, most colourful painting, possibly the most abstract thing I've ever done. So have fun with that, is all I can say. And I shall see you the other side of the weekend. So bye for now, everybody. Have a lovely weekend and see you soon. Bye-bye.